lot of people bashed me for my Justin Fields take about how, Schefter said he can go for a 1. I said he's looking more like a 3. Well, we have some news. After the Steelers released Mitch Trubisky, it looks like Justin Fields is now the favorite to be the next Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. Some of those odds are, I'll bring them up here. So Steelers are the favorite, then Chicago, Atlanta, the Patriots, and Denver round out the top 5. Now, the gap between New England at 4 and Denver at 5 is plus 500 to plus 1,200. But the gap from, Chicago, Atlanta, New England, 300, 450, 500. So those teams are very close, and then the Pittsburgh Steelers are minus 120. So it looks like, and according to Albert Breer, like the lower third says, he thinks the Steelers are the ideal landing spot for Justin Fields. I want to know, do you agree with this? Or do you agree the fact that Justin Fields would be a great fit in Pittsburgh with Mike Tomlin?
I do think that it's potential there. I think Mike Tomlin's a great coach. I think he's better than Eberflus and whoever the offensive coordinator was in Chicago.
It was Luke Getsy, I believe his name is.
And who's this OC in Pittsburgh these days?
They fired, I forgot, Matt Canada. I think it's Arthur Smith. Falcons or former
Arthur
Falcons
Smith is going to be their OC. So, Pittsburgh is a very quality organization. Mike Tomlin never had a losing season. I think it'd be a fresh start for Justin Fields with a team that has a winning culture and a winning attitude. I think that Justin Fields has the talent. It's been inconsistent, and I think that Mike Tomlin could help him find consistency. I do think that would be a good fit.
When it comes to the Steelers,
I'm not sure what they have to give up to get him. And we'll talk about that next, but go ahead.
So for me, I'm not backing down. I've defended Justin Fields partially throughout the NFL season. But then you look a little bit deeper. And I decide, you know what? Let's look a little bit deeper. So normally when you head in, especially as a young quarterback, you get anxious when, it's early in the game, first quarter, you're finding the tempo of things. You got to find what works within the game, whether it's not, okay, we're going to have the deep shot a lot. Okay, we're going to dink and dunk our way. You got to get a feel for the game. So normally you start off poor, and then as the game progresses, you get better and better and better. When it comes to Justin Fields, he gets worse and worse and worse as the game progresses. Justin Fields is the worst fourth quarter quarterback in the entire league. Completion percentage 51.1, dead last. Passer rating 53.4, dead last. And this is this past season. Giveaways 9, dead last. Not only that, it gets much worse. And people are going to say, well, those numbers are because of his poor defense and the fact that his offensive line is terrible, that he plays bad. Well, take a look at this. When trailing, his passer rating is 80. Not great, not really horrible. When tied, his passer rating is 88. A little bit better. And when ahead, it's 60. When he's winning in the fourth quarter, he has a passer rating of 60. How does that work? How do you get worse in the fourth quarter when you're leading? And not only that, what I've seen a lot of people comment on one of our we did a clip and a topic not too long ago. We defended Justin Fields, and someone made the right point about the fact that his turnovers are a main issue, especially in fumbling the ball. So if you look at his numbers, since he entered the league back in 2021, he leads the NFL in fumbles with 38. Trevor Lawrence is second with, I believe, 33. He's turnover prone, has a hard time completing passes, and as the game progresses, he gets worse and worse and worse. And the fact that he's going to go into Pittsburgh and try to fight with Kenny Pickett, who I coined the name Kenny Pick-em-off, have yet to hear anyone give him that nickname. I could be wrong. Someone may have beat me to it. But I'm going to say right now, unless someone else corrects me, that I came up with Kenny Pick-em-off. He has to go into the Pittsburgh Steelers potentially and try to fight for the QB1 job. I don't think it's a good job to start with.
What about the other quarterback in Pittsburgh there?
What I said, Kenny Pickett.
No, the another one.
What, Mason Rudolph?
Mason Rudolph.
They're probably going to get rid of him.
Mason Rudolph played well.
I would
down
start
the
Mason
stretch.
Rudolph off both of them.
Yeah,
because he played well when he was in there last year.
So he's going to have a chance to win the.
I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere they're going to get off of him. Even though I think that's a bad idea.
I don't think they will. I think they're going to keep him. I think he has what's his contract? It's a pretty reasonable contract, I think.
Well, I mean, he's not going to get paid large sums of money.
I mean, he's still on his first contract.
Mason Rudolph, he is a unrestricted free agent this offseason, so the Steelers would need to sign him. I don't know if they will. He was a third-round pick. I'm not sure if they will. He's 28 years old. But if
you're 28,
he's 28 years old. If you're going to go in and decide to trade for Justin Fields, and let's say you do give up a first-round pick, which I think is a complete overpay for a guy who's 40 touchdowns, 30 picks, and is 10-28 as a career record, that's horrible. You tell me what quarterback is 10-28 in his career. He nearly has a 1-to-1 interception to touchdown ratio, and as the game also leads the league in fumbles since entering the league. And as the game progresses, gets worse and worse and worse. And when it matters most, when you're up winning in the fourth quarter, you have a passer rating of 60, and that's a first-round pick. He's great on YouTube. He's great on YouTube. Running around, he's great.
I think he can be had for a second rounder.
I don't think
he can be had for a second rounder. And I do think that some of his fourth quarter poor performance is not all on him. I think that's on the scheme.
You think it's on the
coaching?
Scheme?
Yeah.
Well, people get him a receiver. Darnell Mooney,
they got him a receiver.
He got him, DJ Moore, and yet he still struggled against poor defenses. Minnesota, he struggled with. Now, they won the game, but it was a 2-point game. Struggled against Detroit, who had one of the worst pass defenses. Struggled against them. Now, they did win the second game, but still, he had his struggles. The numbers say that he didn't play particularly well. 57% completion percentage. Fumbling. That's what Justin Fields' career has amounted to so far, and just incompletions all around. His career completion percentage is 60.3. He doesn't complete passes. Nearly has a 1-to-1 touchdown interception ratio.
I would say his first couple of years, he didn't have much of a receiver core to throw to. They've improved that in the last 2 years with DJ Moore there.
Mainly this year, with DJ Moore.
Was DJ Moore there just this past year?
Because it was the Bryce Young trade. That,
so
he
3 years, he didn't really have much. I mean, they had N'Keal Harry on there. They picked him up.
Man, Patriots fans know a thing or two about N'Keal Harry. But if he goes over to the Steelers team, right, you have Najee Harris, you have George Pickens, you have Deontay Johnson. You could team up with Allen Robinson again. He was there last year. I don't know if 10-7.
That's a better crew.
It's a better crew, but think about it. Kenny Pickett, who was a budding prospect when he was drafted, this offense was anemic through most of the season. We saw at times where Kenny Pickett would have trouble scoring touchdowns on a team with George Pickens, and also the personalities, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, they have issues. There's some serious personality issues within Pittsburgh with a head coach like Mike Tomlin, which in my mind, you think of Mike Tomlin and his coaching, I don't think you would let that slide. Yet this season, George Pickens went off. You had Deontay Johnson, who was frustrated. You had players who were not happy with their roles on the team and the amount of success or lack thereof of this team. There is talent, though. You even have your tight end, Pat Freiermuth. You have pieces. The offensive line could be improved, definitely. I think the defense
is good.
The defense for me is average.
As long as T.J. Watt is healthy.
T.J. Watt needs to be healthy, yeah.
They lose every game when he's not in there.
So they went 10-7 last year. If Justin Fields, and let's say they trade a first-round pick, let's be conservative, not, follow Adam Schefter to the moon about this. Let's say they decide to trade Justin Fields for a second-round pick. You go from 10-7 with Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and Mitch Trubisky to what?
I think you still win about 10 games.
You're not moving the pin.
I don't think it would be much better, actually.
So then why would you trade for him at all then? You would give up a second-round pick to yield the same result. Keep that second-round pick. Develop your defense better. Develop Develop your offensive line better.
Well, I think they got lucky to win 10 games this past year.
I would agree with you.
And I
Their
don't think
expected win-loss was 8-9.
I don't think Kenny Pickett is the answer. I think their prospects with Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph as quarterback next year would be less than 10 wins.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think
they
would.
went 7-5 with him last season on 62% completion percentage, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks. While Mason Rudolph, 3-0, 74% completion percentage, 719 yards, which is 179.8 yards per game, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
No, he played very well.
I would start Mason Rudolph off both those guys.
So would I.
Just based on how he performed last season.
Well, I might. I think that
he showed production.
Do you think that we talk a lot about game managers and real quarterback make something happen talent, and some quarterbacks are pigeonholed as game managers, and others are considered game changing talent, right? What do you think Mason Rudolph would be classified as?
He'd be maybe a game manager.
Yeah, right. And what do you think Justin Fields would be classified as?
Well, on the Bears, are we basing off Cam Newton's criteria?
Just based on what people think. I mean, a lot of people picking him to be the MVP last year at the beginning of the season.
So
they look at him as a talent, that somebody who can be game changing talent.
Because he can run the football.
He's shown some times when he does look like that kind of player.
He did have a streak
he's
of
very
3
inconsistent.
games.
I would say that he's very inconsistent. And your stats show that he gets worse as the game goes on. That's not good. So you're probably right. He's not a first round. The Steelers don't have to worry about trading a first rounder to get him. If the Bears want to trade him, they can probably get him for a second. What do you think about some of these other teams? Other teams. I don't think the Patriots are going to try to get him.
Well, I think when it comes to the Steelers, Arthur Smith, Falcons, everybody thought you go out and get a mobile quarterback like Anthony Richardson. You try to go get Lamar Jackson.
Fit.
Well, what I'm saying is that Arthur Smith developed that offense where it was very run-heavy, and that's why people were saying Lamar Jackson to the Falcons. Oh, they should draft Anthony Richardson at number 8 last season. You wanted to get that more mobile offense. You bring him to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's probably where some people were like, oh, yeah, Justin Fields. At least Albert Breer was talking about Mike Tomlin and his connection with Ohio State, something along the lines of that. But you want to go down some of these teams? Because I don't think a lot of these teams really have a shot.
One more point. Just one more point.
Sure.
Okay, on the Steelers. The reason they like Ohio State, it's in Ohio. Cleveland's in Ohio, right? So a lot of people in Ohio loved Justin Fields when he played at Ohio State.
Yeah.
So it's a draw for the fans to come to see him play in Pittsburgh. So that's part of it, I think.
So the Steelers are minus 120. In my mind, I don't know how the team you're currently on is not favored. Is that because everybody's expecting them to draft Caleb Williams?
Yeah.
Probably. The Falcons, they have a position to draft. They have a shot at getting one of the top quarterbacks. Whether you're going out and I
what
think,
number are they at?
I think Drake May is going to fall. I believe they're number 8. I'll look at the draft order right now, but I would say I think Drake May is going to fall. And
why?
I mean, first of all, his numbers. He went to UNC. He didn't have a great touchdown-interception ratio. The passing yards were not up there. So I just think that Jaden Daniels, unfortunately, because we're going to do our mock drafts.
He's going to Washington.
In a couple months. My guess would be he's going to go to Washington.
Then who do the Patriots pick?
Then they would probably go either Drake May or, as Warren Sharp pointed out, he has the Patriots drafting Marvin Harrison. Which, once again, I predicted about week 8 or 9.
Bailey Zappi or
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Who knows? They may get one in free agency or use one of their later picks to draft a lower-tier quarterback. Who knows?
I was surprised the Patriots didn't pick Josh McDaniel for their offensive coordinator.
I don't know why
because they could. Mac Jones played well.
They're moving forward here. They're moving forward. They're not looking back in the past. That's why. By the way,
we'll see how forward they go with
this first-time head coach, first-time OC with them.
First time everybody there.
Yeah.
Now.
The first time they've had a GM in how long?
Who is the GM now?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think Pittsburgh would be a horrible match because you have Arthur Smith, and maybe that offense would go from anemic to enticing, maybe. But in my mind, what I saw, the last game of the season sealed it in my mind that Justin Fields is not a phenomenal quarterback. You go against Green Bay's passing defense, which this season was one of the worst, and what score was it, 17? It was a very, very low scoring game. Do I have it in front of me? I did. Yeah, here we go. 17-9. 9 points against one of the league's worst passing defenses. If you want the exact number, they were 17th in total defense.
Plus, they still had a chance to sneak into the playoffs there in the last few weeks.
And they were also
on
a skid
they blew it.
giving up passing yards as well during that time. So
I think Atlanta might be a better spot for Fields to land because Atlanta has a good running game.
They do.
And they could make their offense more like the Ravens offense.
Raheem Morris would have to be interested in Justin Fields, which if you have the opportunity to go from Desmond Ridder or draft a quarterback or go get Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, he's not as mobile as he once was, but maybe add him to the stockpile of potential guys you go out and get. Maybe that'll work. Yeah. Justin Fields, 3rd round pick.
What kind of money do you think Russell Wilson's going to be able to command going forward?
That's a great question.
I mean, don't you have to pick up something from his contract, or can they release him? I don't think.
Well, now what we're hearing is that Sean Payton has ruled out bringing him back.
Oh, really?
On a restructured deal.
Huh.
I feel bad for Russell Wilson.
So do I.
Just get booted, and all of a sudden we're like, yeah, no, we'll take you back now.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm going to go to my grave. Until Justin Fields gets traded, 3rd round pick. Still believe it.
Yeah.
The numbers don't lie. Same thing with Brock Purdy versus Jimmy Garoppolo in the first 27 games where I said numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. Justin Fields, he's a great YouTube highlight reel. Good for him. He gets clicks. He gets engagement. I will say this, though. I believe it was the end of the year press conference, and we covered this on the show. His personality, the way he carries himself, very nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a very, very mature guy.
Very mature guy. Speaks well. Top character type guy, I think.
And this is the second year in a row he had to talk about his job security.
Yeah,
which
right.
For a young
he said, you know what?
Like that,
he made some mistakes in talking about that, but he owned up to them. He said, you know what? That was not the right thing to say. If there's problems with the team, put it all on me.
Right.
It's all on me.
Because he had the quote early on in the season how the coaches were giving him too much information.
Yeah,
he was thinking too much.
Yeah.
And then he goes out in the next game against Kansas City and plays horrible. You know, it happens. You're playing against Kansas City.
He did play better after that, though.
He had a couple games. There was one against Denver. I think
then he got hurt. Then when he came back, he played okay. But then at the end, they didn't do so well.
He went back to Justin Fields, pre-injury.
1.0.
Yeah, wasn't very good. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.